and before you get started on this episode of Zapped to the Past, we would just like to give a massive shout out to the following people: Andy Marsh, Cole Hutchinson, David Hearn, Sven Osa, 2000 DC, Gary Heather, Roger McNally, Lee Dove, Ben Granville, Mark Fletcher, Etienne Vedingfeld, Niall Bullitt, Tim TJ Walker, Phil Sowerby, Joshua K, Rune P, Nick James, Daniel Spreadbury, Peter Price, Richard Davey, Dennis B, AL82 Retro, Liam Carew, Dylan Dark, Alistair McMillan, Dan Wales, Gary Wilson, Oscar Jacobson, Clive Radcliffe, Adam Askew, Leo Staples, Jason Hutchins, David Stringer, Chris Snowden, David Winter, Mike's Vintage Tech, Rooster71, Pete Muller, Deadlock, Samuel Hodgson, David Witkowski, and Graham Orty. These people, amazing people, have backed our Patreon at the C64 tier, and the support they offer is just awesome. If you want to join them, get a mention in next month's shout-out, access to our Discord server, early access to ad-free episodes, along with the Patreon-only exclusive episodes that we do now, and anything else we can think of, and sign up by the 18th of the month at patreon.com/zaptothepast for probably less than the price of a pint of beer. Well less than the price of a pint of beer. But anyway, with that done, on with the show. And welcome to episode 231 of Zapped to the Past. I am Adrian Mills, and I'm joined as always by Mr. Graham Raddings. If you haven't listened before, this is mostly a podcast where we discuss games that were released for the Commodore 64. We were using the magazine Zap 64 as a monthly guide for the games to focus on, and we're of course no way affiliated with Zap 64 itself, but we've covered all those games now, so that's no longer happening. This week, we continue our look at those games that were reviewed in the successor to Zap 64, Commodore Force, over the period of 1993 and 1994. There were only 45 new games reviewed over this period, and some issues had no new games reviewed at all. So we're not doing this in chronological order, but rather taking a sample from those 45 each month till we run out and have to think of something else to do. Anyway, as Europe continues to bake in weather that's far too hot, Graham, are the games this week equally hot, or are they not? And more pertinently, did I do this podcast for a quick buck?
All right, here we go again. July 1992 this time, and another load of games from the Commodore Force C64 archive. Was it a hot summer in 1992? I have no idea. Have a feeling we were in the middle of making a horror film called The Haunting 3 back then, so we were knee-deep in VHS camcorders, blood mixture, and Ushanka hats. Anyway, we kick things off this time with a late ocean comic relief charity game. That scores high with Commodore Force, maybe not so much with us, with Sleepwalker. After that, we pop on the spandex leotards. Again, only this time we head into the unbranded and clearly unregulated world of superglued bodybuilders with American tag team wrestling. Staying with sports-ish, we again head to the dull offices of God knows where as we go selection crazy between some horrible graphics and some other things in the perspectively challenged Football Manager 3 before we finally go full Hornby, set up a load of train track and points, and see about making sure all the trains get to their destinations without incident in the puzzling world of Locomotion. We're not breaking the average here. 25% of these games are still good. The rest, even as an attempt at being charitable, are more like a Scotch egg being slammed on your forehead, which is just plain unnecessary, isn't it? Neutralize electro scan.
Absolutely. Feeding into giants. I feel like I've been fed to giant spiders, if I'm honest. But
games don't seem to be getting any better. I thought they were supposed to get better when things got older. I thought that's how it worked. Not anymore.
Well, yes. Yes, we'll get to that with it. 4 games this week. Another 4 games from the hallowed, or should this be hollowed pages of Commodore Force.
Commodore Force,
so little in it. It's so little in it. And the games that are just not very good. Not very good at all. But anyway, yeah, it's hot again. I'm getting fed up with this. I'm not a summer person. I probably said this for the last 5 years. Been doing this. I don't like summer. I don't. I wish it. I just don't. I'm going to move to Scotland or something. Move further north. But I can't because I can't afford it.
You don't want to anyway, would you? Want to go moving up north?
Nah, true. Bought a house and everything, so no. I don't like. It's not good that we've had 2 heat waves in June.
I think it is. I like heat waves.
Successively, the hottest days in June just keep getting beaten, broken.
Yeah,
another one.
Record breaker. I mean, ironically, I was in a different country during that hottest week of the year, which wasn't as hot. But I do appreciate that. I like it. I much prefer it warm to it being hot to it being cold. Don't you?
Nah.
I mean, granted, my pets don't like it, but you know what? They're just going to have to get used to it, aren't they? This is the world we live in now. This is it. This is climate change. It's now hot.
It is. I think it's because you were born. You were born in the hot months, though, weren't you? You were a hot month baby.
Yeah, born in July.
Yeah, and I was born in February. I'm a cold month baby. So.
Yeah, what star sign does that make you? Not that I believe in anything to do with that, really. I'm just curious.
I'm the 2 fishes. I'm a Pisces.
You're a 2 fish.
I'm a 2 fish, yeah. And you're a crab,
Yes, Cancerian, yeah. So we're both aquatic.
That's
exciting, isn't it? Yeah, that
Absolutely.
makes sense.
I swim away from your claws quite quickly.
Yeah, we're both from the Iron Islands if we're in Game of Thrones, doesn't it? We're around the Iron Islands somewhere. I'm on that crab beach with all the crabbers. Yeah. They don't fare so well, do they? In the recent House of Dragons, they get first 2 episodes of that.
No, I'm sure we'll talk about that on the Patreon-only exclusive episode.
Yes. We will. Yes. We won't talk about it here. No, not on this one. So yeah, it is hot. It has been hot. I like it. You don't. I mean that, but it's British houses, though, isn't it? They're designed to keep the heat in, not to help the heat get out. So they just become these sort of heat batteries. So you go into your house. What I didn't enjoy, though, was coming back from being away, picking up my car at the airport where it had been resting in that heat for 4 days, opening the door to which felt like I was being hit with a blast furnace. That was. I'm glad I didn't wear shorts, put it that way, because if I'd have sat down, it would have burnt my legs, and the steering wheel I couldn't actually touch. It was that hot in there. It was crazy.
How'd you steer?
You don't want to know what I used for that. Nobody. We don't talk about that. Even Michelle just blanks it out of her mind. She just goes la 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 la. Just So we don't talk about that. It was handy that I had it, and that's all I'm saying.
I don't want to know what you had.
So yes, the lubricant helped. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Do we should want to say as well that we wish a speedy recovery to ALH2 Retro, one of our amazing Patreons who is in hospital today as we are recording. Yes. I mean, hopefully everything's going to be okay and good. Yeah. You can get back to playing those games so we can, watch them and
see what the ending's like.
See what the ending's like because we usually can't be ours because we get so annoyed with 5 minutes.
I can never get there. It's too hard.
So get better, dude. And full recovery we wish upon you.
Yes, indeed.
So because you're a part of the community, we look out for you. We want you to be okay. Yes. Anyway, so on that note, should we get some games? Should we get some?
Let's go with it because we've got to get on with them, haven't we?
We have 4 games. Let's get to the first one of those games for this week. And well, it's this is are there any mini games, Graham? And I thought about this for a while. Where you control a dog.
Star Paws.
Yeah.
Pink Panther. Oh, that's not a dog.
No, that's a cat.
Yeah.
There's the Scooby and Scrappy Doo games.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's the obvious choices there.
Yeah. There was a game on the PS2 called A Dog's Life. But
what else is there? Yogi is dog-like.
He's a bear.
Yeah, they're dog-like.
There was that level in Potsworth and Co.
Yes. Rupert.
The bear.
Yes, he's a bear. But it's
he's
Rupert.
A dog.
He's dog-like. They're similar. They're very similar.
God.
There's that dog that's in that game, that ninja game. Well, that's a wolf. But they're dog-like. That's like a.
I suppose you have a pet dog. It's, not Shinobi. Samurai. No, what is it? Shadow Warrior.
Shadow Warrior. Yeah. Is that a dog in that, or is that a wolf?
It's a wolf, I think.
Well, the wolf is a dog, isn't it? Just it's a bit. Further back in the evolutionary ladder.
Yeah, you have a pet dog in that one. And there's that was a panther one in the Shitty Wild Street.
Yeah, Dog Life. There's Dog's Life, Dog's Body, Attack of the Dogs. You won't be familiar with those.
I think the answer is not many, dear.
I don't remember that many now.
No, anyway, add another one to the list here because this is Ocean Software's Sleepwalker. Sleepwalker,
Right.
not to be confused with the film Sleepwalkers, which had a preponderance of cats.
Oh, God, yeah, that thing. No, crap. Crap.
Yeah, this was gross crap. This was full price, $10.99, and scored a bonio 92%, making it some prime pedigree chum. 92% it's got, Graham. Save your screams. There's a whole host of credits on this. The developer being CTA Development, the C64 conversion being handled by ISC. I don't know what that means, but it means it's got Chris Walsh, who did the code and audio, and Mark Healy, who did the visuals. This was a bit of a late conversion from the 16-bit originals because it came out originally for the Amiga CD32, the Atari ST, DOS, and Windows. C64, though, was the only 8-bit system to get a conversion. And because this came out late, it kind of missed the mark somewhat, as this was a game designed for Red Nose Day. So for those not aware, Red Nose Day is a big charity event run by the BBC. It runs over a whole day. It's been running since the 80s, and it runs for many days forward. People do a whole host of crazy antics, like sit in a bath of beans, eat a lot of beans. There's always loads of beans involved. It's a bean fest, basically. There's loads of beans.
You always go for the beans. I've noticed. Whenever we've talked about telling, these,
because that's what people happens. People sit in baths of beans. Whenever we've talked
about any of these big TV sort of telethons or anything, you've always gone straight to beans. I've noticed that. You're like, oh, they do bean-related things. Do people do charity runs, charity walks, sponsored silences?
They have beans in their shoes, though.
What is it with you and beans and charity work?
I don't know. Anyway, they raise money for charity. They do runs and walks and other things and sponsored silences and sponsored things, but, we're sitting in tubs of beans.
There is that. They do bean sittings.
Yeah, the 1993 Red Nose Day was on Friday, 12th of March, and I think the 16-bit versions were out for that, but the C64 version was late. This didn't get reviewed until the July 1993 issue of Commodore Force. That's somewhat later, but better late than never. I hope it made some money. I'm not sure if it did, but, Red Nose, it's all for charity. So the game itself, listed on the Wikipedia version, page, had a number of elements that reference Red Nose Day as well. These being Lenny Henry, who is heavily connected with the charity, was cast as Ralph's voice in the game's animated introductions. You remember them. The Ocean Software logo was animated to include a red tomato being thrown at it. Tomatoes were the theme of that year's comic relief event, with the charity logo stamped on top of the resulting mess. And the phrase comic relief or summon, voiced by comedian Harry Enfield, was then heard. You remember that. The opening title of the game features Lee and Ralph moving from left to right and then right to left inside the letters of the word Sleepwalker. Each time they move from right to left, they are seen wearing red noses. Letters can be collected that spell out the word comic at the top of the screen. An extra life is awarded for successfully collecting all 5 letters. And a whoopee cushion features in the game as a bonus object. Okay. None of those made it to the C64 version.
No.
and was slightly changed. For whatever reason, I guess time, or just couldn't fit them into memory, which I don't believe, because they could have done those things. We've seen these kind of intros that are done before, but it's probably just Ocean not probably putting the money in. But anyway, whatever the reason, there is a story here, and the manual sets the scene like this. Wake up, Ralph. He's off again. Your young, cute, adorable master has done it again. He's sleepwalking. Normally, this isn't too bad. He just walks around the room a few times and gets back into bed. But then this is not a normal night. They say that a city after dark is a jungle. Well, tonight you can find out for yourself. As his faithful four-legged friend, only you can save your master from all the perils that await him in the dark streets of Kipsville. Fortunately, for Lee at least, your desire to see him safely back to his bed has given you super canine powers beyond your wildest dreams. You can run, jump, and even bridge a gap. You can be squashed, run over, and even roasted, but nothing will quench your desire to save your master from disaster. Unfortunately, your young, cute, adorable master does not seem to be endowed with the same magical qualities and suffers badly if run over, squashed, or gets even the slightest bit wet. Can you do it? Are you dog enough to see that poor defenseless kid safely through 6 levels of the toughest cityscape you have ever seen? I don't know. Are you? Can you?
Are you?
So yeah, there are things missing from this version. Okay, the intro's there. We get a credit screen for this flick to the Sleepwalker logo with Lee sleepwalking within it and chased by Ralph. That is there. That is there. That's there.
All fairness.
The music that plays over the top, though, it's a version of the Amiga music. Because I was like, what is this? But it's actually a SID version of the Amiga music. So, okay, fair enough. But what it misses, it doesn't speed up. In the Amiga version, it speeds up where, because Lee kind of walks across slowly, and then Ralph comes like, cartooning across, like Looney Tunes type thing. And the music goes, and sort of speeds up. This one doesn't do that. So it kind of misses that. So the music doesn't really fit here at Thor. It just doesn't. It sounds a bit off. It just doesn't work. So it doesn't work as well as the 16-bit versions do anyway. There's nothing else to do here. Once you've watched this, you need to press the space bar to load in the first level. Why the space bar, not the fire button? Who knows?
We'll never know.
Who knows? Anyway, it's a multi-load disc. Each level loads separately. I did play the cartridge version, and I played the disc version, and there are weird differences. It did alleviate the loading. I can imagine on tape is a bit of a pain. And once loaded, you're just straight into the game. The game just starts. So the lovely, I'll say lovely, the intro sequence from the Amiga is just completely gone.
Yep.
The Amiga has this whole intro sequence where Lee's in bed, he gets out, he sleepwalks around, he falls out the window, Ralph's like, and jumps after him. We've got Lenny Henry doing a voiceover, all this kind of stuff going on. None of that, none of the voiceover, none of the animation, none of it, gone. No, we're just straight into the game itself. So it feels a bit odd. It's like, what's happened here? What's gone on? There's no point to this. And I've seen intros on the C64. We've seen loads of animated intros. There's no reason why they couldn't have done something there, even if it's some still images or whatever. But they didn't. It's gone. And so we start the game. I think you're supposed to be on a roof, on the rooftops, but it's not easily apparent because all the background detail from the original versions is gone as well. So all that background stuff. So you're just on a platform in the against the black background. So the game window takes up most of the screens. You've got the UI at the bottom showing the number of lives remaining, Lee's depth of sleep, which is his energy bar basically. And the word, so in the disc version, which I originally played, it's got the word bonus, and every version I've seen on YouTube looking through this, it had the word bonus in red balloons, not comic. Oddly though, on the cartridge version, it does say comic.
Yeah, weird.
So there's two versions there. So either this is an early version or it was a later version. The cartridge version might be a later version, or they changed it. The cartridge, I don't know. But, you look on YouTube, you'll see the word bonus. Check out the cartridge version, which you can find easily enough. It says comic. Don't know why. You collect those things through the level. You control Ralph. Is a yellow dog. Runs on his hind legs. And, and at present, you're basically stopping Lee from walking off the roof. He's sleepwalking like somnambulistically, arms out in front of him. Blah, blah, blah. Typical sort of sleepwalking type thing. And you control Ralph in a sort of basic way, left and right to move Ralph. The longer you hold either direction, the faster Ralph will go. You'll sort of start walking, then sort of meander into a run. And you press up for a jump, and he jumps. It's a big old jump. Big old jump in this. You've got other moves as well, depending on whether you are pushing Lee. So if you run up to Lee, you kind of stop him. You go into like a push mode, and Lee won't walk. So you can do certain things at this point. If you press fire, this makes Lee walk away from you. So he turns him round. Pulling down will swap sides with each other. If you're pushing Lee along, so if you're, so running up to him and pushing him back or pushing him forwards, if you're then pressing fire, that kicks him, sends him flying upwards. And you need to do that obviously to get him onto higher platforms and clear gaps and things like that. You can also bash objects when you're not pushing Lee by just moving, if you're moving left to right, press fire. You can do this bash animation so you can hit things in front of you as well. You can also span gaps by falling into them. And the dog kind of sort of puts either sort of front paws out, stretching paws out, and then Lee allows Lee to walk over you and let you create a bridge. And your goal is basically to get Lee through the level to a point that I could never quite make out. Even watching the videos online, I could never quite make out where he's supposed to get him to. It's just an arbitrary point. And keep him asleep. You do this by navigating the platforms and directing Lee by either pushing, blocking, or kicking him onto distant platforms. Should Lee reach fully awake or come into contact with water or any other hazardous objects, you lose one of your lives, of which you have 3. If you have lives left, then you're checkpointed back a short distance. But if you lose all 3, then it's back to the start of the level you're on for you, I think. There are collectibles to find. There's the letters of the word bonus or comic, depending on which version you're playing. They're hidden through the level. Sometimes you have to go off the beaten track and into hidden areas and stuff to find them. Okay. And if you find all of those, then on completion of the level, you get a bonus stage where you collect tomatoes. Eva Red knows that. Yeah. There are also extra lives to find, represented by little Lees. There are shields to make you invulnerable. There's a false beard. This helps you find secret areas. There's a sheep. This puts Lee into a deeper sleep state, so basically, puts his energy back. Think of it that way. There's also a custard pie, which builds a bridge over water. Okay. But these elements are only found in certain levels. Not every level will have them. They will always be the bonus and secret lives, but the custard pie and things like that, they're only 6 levels. There are 6 levels for you to guide Lee through. No interstitial titles or anything. When you complete a level, you just move to the next one. It loads up, starts. So you've no idea what they are. There's nothing in instructions. going by what they look like, the first level is a city. Level 2 is like a jungle, woody affair. Level 3 takes you to some caves. Level 4 looks like a construction site. Level 5 is a factory, possibly, although those two could be interchangeable. And level 6 is back to the city where you finally get Lee back home. If you manage all that, then you get to enter your name, and then you see a picture of Lee covered by a large tomato. Supposedly the tomato is based on some kind of ranking. I don't know. I don't think it's here. And the message says, there's a message comes that says, "Go and get your camera."
Okay.
No score. I don't get it.
Weird.
I don't get it. I don't get this game. The irony of it, and that's it, basically. That's it. This is there's nothing much in the levels apart from, they're all kind of the same. There's not much to do within them. There's some characters that pop up every now and again, but they come in for anything. I don't know. The irony of all this is that we have a game here that is supposed to be in support of comic relief. There's absolutely no comedy in it.
Yeah, it's weird.
And this version doesn't. Anyway, I know they tried with the Amiga version. They got Lenny Henry to do funny animations. The backgrounds are all that kind of thing and the like. But here, we've seen this before. What they've done, in converting this to the 8-bit scalpel-like position, all that comedy's been removed. Everything that makes this an actual comic relief thing, gone, just gone. We've got our old bugbear of no in-game music. I think that's the same for all versions as well. Watching the Amiga version didn't seem to have any as well. So it's bad for all versions. All you get is a tap 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 of the feet for the dog. That's all you hear for most of this. Odd sound effects now and again. It just makes the game a really dull and lifeless affair. The visuals are okay, but the game's really brown. It's a really brown game. Another brown game on the whole, or at least the first few levels are. And whilst there's some nice detail in the backdrops, and there's some nice pixel work in the backdrops, and they do look quite okay. They're very similar to the foreground. So it's not always, it's not only easy to get lost because the level's quite sprawling. It's also hard to see what you can jump on and what you cannot. The platforms, there's no clear delineation of platforms and backgrounds, which makes navigating more of a chore than it should be. And sometimes you can jump through walls to get through bits, then you can't go back through them. It's kind of weird. And you don't know which ones you can jump through. And sometimes you fall through stuff, you think, oh, that must be a platform. No, it's not. I don't know. Because the levels are also quite big. And in counterpoint to that, Lee is quite slow. I know he's sleepwalking, that's fair enough. Which means for a lot of this, you're meandering around, moving about, because you move quite quick, waiting for Lee to get to a point where you need to help him to progress. You just kind of do wait, and you can push him and kick him and do stuff, but there's stuff you need to go off and do. And if you want to be, exploring and finding extra stuff, you just kind of go off and do that stuff. And this also leads to a problem in that you have no way of knowing where Lee is if you move off somewhere. The game doesn't indicate where you are in relation to him, though, which would have been helpful. An arrow, perhaps, to point in his direction could have been done. And the only way to sort this, and I think it says in the instructions, is to box Lee into a space with walls and then go off and explore. So it's kind of like, right. So it kind of, don't know, is that removes the point of the game almost. But then you realise the levels are too big and too empty for there to be any fun in them. Navigating these levels isn't particularly any fun. There's some bouncy bits and clotheslines and things like that to bounce on and stuff, and there's some kineticness to those. But it's all for nothing because it's all empty and boring. They try to spice it up with some extra areas, but as the game has no score or real way of measuring success beyond Lee is dead, not dead, then they all feel somewhat superfluous. Who cares if you're collecting extra tomatoes when there's no score? That seems redundant. It's like they saw the secret areas in Mario games and other games like that, forgot why they're there and what they add to the game. So I don't know. It's a dull trudge of a game. Another one, too big. We said this about Robocod as well, and it's the same thing. Even though they've given the dog a super jump like they did in Robocod, this feels like a very empty thing with the odd thing to do here and there. Now, the problem here is that last year, or in the final year of Zapped, Zeppelin's Sleepwalking game came out. Both a better game and a funnier one.
True.
So maybe they should have just licensed that for comic relief. Because it works better.
Yeah, it would have made more sense.
You could have licensed that, tidied up some of those issues we had, add a pointer to where the uncle was wandering around. Because there's loads of comedy in that, and the way you die and the way you get zapped and stuff. It's essentially the same thing, but it's a better game. Yes, some issues, but the tighter area and design work better in context than this somewhat sprawling, open, boring platformer. Like I said, it reminded me of Robocod 2, Robocod James Bond 2. That was equally expansive and equally as boring. There's a reason why the tighter levels of Mario platformers work better than these open, vacant spaces. It's just not fun to explore when there's nothing there to explore. And when you're having to wait for a trudging character to come behind you and you're pushing him to speed up, it's like, this isn't enjoyable. This is not an enjoyable thing to be doing. And there's not enough fun and variety in the levels to make this in any way fun. And it comes to the point here as well. that I just would say, if you are making a game based on comic relief, and you've got all those people giving their time and money and all those people that turn up for comic relief, all those characters and stuff like that, why do you not make a game based around them? Walk and find, you could do a walk and find game with loads of money and Mr. Bean and all these kind of characters popping up. And, in this thing, you could do I know it would take time to probably do a point and click game, but you could certainly do something like, Harry Enfield, loads of money, has lost his suitcase full of money. You need to go find it. You get those characters in there saying their catchphrases like we saw with Viz. Why? I don't get it. Why do this completely unconnected thing? I don't know. And why does it get 92%?
It's a miracle.
Well, I'll tell you why, because it's made by Ocean. Because, it doesn't deserve 92%. It's a boring game. It's boring and empty, and it's not very good. And I'm kicking a game that's for charity, fair enough. And they actually say that in the review. You go, we were dreading getting this in case it was rubbish, and we'd have to say it was rubbish, and it was coming for charity and everything like that. It's like, well, to be honest, not very good.
No.
It is what it is. I didn't like this. What did you think?
It was rubbish, wasn't it? I mean, all right, charity work, great. But it only really is something if you actually put an effort in. They never made this game for comic relief. This was a game that probably pre-existed. I had a feeling it was almost a Wallace and Gromit game or something that there was an early version of that they just adapted, because there's no way this game was made for comic relief specifically. It's nothing to do with it. I mean, it didn't even have the word comic in one version. So no, the one thing that maybe aligned it, this was never a comic relief game. I don't care what. They'll never convince me otherwise. This was a game they had in the back of a drawer, probably half developed, 3/4 developed, which is the game we've got that we can give away essentially, and which is going to require the minimal amount of development time to just get it to a point when people will buy it, because it's for charity. And that's what they did. That was their charitable donation, was that. Now, a charitable donation is worth something if it actually is going to generate any money for that charity. That's not going to generate anything, is it? Let's be honest. No one's going to pay 11 quid. No one's paying 11 quid for that rubbish. It's garbage. So it was tokenistic at best. And classic Ocean, really, I think. By this point, this was, I think, one of the last things they ever did on the C64. We've got to be up there now. I think so.
It is. Yeah.
So this was their kind of charitable, goodbye. Well, so long and thanks for all the fish, because this game was rubbish. I didn't enjoy it. Floaty, horrible controls, no point to it, emptiness, boring, and bleak. No. I mean, the dog looked like the Pink Panther, but yellow. So it was the Yellow Panther. We'd played a game like this, which was the Pink Panther, which is not dissimilar in its own weird way. Plus, there was another game we played where you were helping somebody wander around as well and trying to stop them from killing themselves. We've just seen it's a tired old trope. There is no way that game was made for comic relief specifically. That's the back of the drawer. 78% complete. I think they took it to 80 and released it because it felt a bit unfinished, if I'm honest. So no, it's not very charitable if your game is not going to make any money for the charity, and you know that. So there you go. That's what I thought. It was a waste of time, really. Don't do that. You'd have been better off putting out some of your full price games out on a special license for comic relief, and all the money that was from them goes to comic relief for a week or two. Do that, but they're not going to do that, are they? So no. It's not about comic relief. I don't care what anyone says. No way.
You could have had a comic relief compilation.
Would have made sense. The game that you talked about would have been the comic relief game. That would have required actual developers to have developed something. That's not happened here. So that's what you've got. You've got a game that's been around for a while. They've quickly recolored into some garish nonsense, threw the word comic in it because it just happened to fit where bonus was, and then released it. No thanks. No, we didn't like that one. There we go. That's Sleepwalking. Yeah, it's very good. Let's move on to our second game of the week. And Graham, that's over to you. There's a preponderance of these at the moment, isn't there? But it's another one here. This is American Tag Team Wrestling. It is. This is American Tag Team Wrestling. This was from Zeppelin in their final hours, I guess, really. The final hours of C64. $3.99 is the Zeppelin price, isn't it? 28%. That's not the Zeppelin percentage, though, is it? That's a bad thing. It's bad. This was coded by Dave Sowerby. Of course it was, because it's Zeppelin. He did Fist Fighter, International Five-A-Side, and Round the Bend. Okay. Graphics, Dave Taylor. He did Arnie, Jockey Wilson's Darts, and Titanic Blinky, to name but a few. They've all done quite a few games. The musician and sound effects, the music and sound effects here, Andrew Roger, the man with two first names. He did Alien 3, Frankenstein, and Sleepwalker, but the other version of Sleepwalker. So, here we go. Tag Team Wrestling. Another wrestling game. Another one. There was one the other week, wasn't there? Seemed to be popular. Why has wrestling suddenly become popular? Well, I don't know. Tag Team Wrestling this time, no less. Wow. Clearly not affiliated with the WWF, the WWE, or indeed any of that. In fact, I dare say this one wasn't even leaning on the UK wrestling leagues, whatever they were called. So there's no Big Daddy here, no Giant Haystacks, or Catweasel, if you remember that person. No,
God.
none of that.
Catweasel.
Yeah, it's stretching right back. He's stretching, there's only people of a certain age who can remember that.
Ready, Kendo Nagasaki?
Kendo Nagasaki. No Kendos, I'm afraid.
No, Iron Fist. Was there Iron Fist?
I definitely want there. or they. Anyway, so none of that nonsense. This is a non-branded. This is, I suppose, the unbranded, wasn't it? It's just, American because it's in America somehow.
Well, it says American.
Well, they thought, there you go. That's it. It's American. And it's, I suppose, the notion of the game is simple enough, really, isn't it? The inlay of the cassette has this to say: American Tag Team Wrestling. The Zeppelin American Tag Team World Wrestling Championship is an awesome display of talent, gymnastics, and, judging by the size of the leotards hanging in the changing room, belly. They don't hang the leotards in the changing rooms. I hope, because that conjures up what they're doing.
That'd be ace.
One such behemoth, Adrian, is Combine Harvester, title holder, and full-time man mountain. He is currently squeezed uncomfortably into a normal-sized sofa. The guy is huge. Imagine two bodybuilders super glued together, and you have Combine Harvester. That's gross, that is. Feeling more like a mouse than a hardened reporter. I don't think being hardened in the presence of a superglued bodybuilder combo is my idea of fun. Anyway, I began the interview using all of the tact and sensitivity they teach you at journalist school. That's journalism school to you and me. Obviously didn't attend many of the sessions there, did you? Just saying. So, Mr. Harvester, just what is your real name? Okay.
Who are you? What do you do?
Let's talk about interview techniques, shall we? Larry Tractor 7, Reggie Lawnmower. I don't understand what this means. Or even Percy Edge Trimmer. It takes a couple of seconds for my quips to register, but then my man mountain turns into a volcano. Now, we're going to be careful how we phrase things when we're writing journalists, okay? Just be careful. That can be interpreted in all sorts of... If your man mountain starts to turn into a volcano, it could be interpreted as they've got a bit overexcited. That's all I'm saying. No, we've all been there. Sometimes your man mountain does get a bit volcanic in the presence of certain things. Tends to happen to me when I'm watching Love Island sometimes. Anyway, he grabs me in a stranglehold. I'm thinking stranglehold, really. Follows it up with a half Nelson, spins me around the room, and then, like a character in a cartoon, throws me through the unopened door, leaving my perfect outline behind. Before slipping into unconsciousness, unpleasant that, I make a mental note never to upset an American tag team wrestler ever again. Okay, lesson learned there. Lesson learned. I think we can all learn something from that.
Yes.
Yeah. So essentially, what we watched was a physical assault, and someone get thrown through and knocked unconscious by a giant. Well, we've actually seen that happen for real.
We've seen that happen. Yeah.
We've actually seen that for reals. We did. We saw a man do that to another person, a smaller person. Not Gary though, or maybe it was Gary. No, it wasn't Gary. Anyway, so the title screen appears when you first load this up. It's very bright, very very strange looking. It has to be said. The whole game's a bit strange looking, if I'm honest. I don't know what happened to my emulator. But it went on some kind of colour explosion when I was playing this. So the screen grabs I've got are perhaps a bit overcoloured, I think. But they are what they are. So you'll get past the title screen, and then you'll be wanting to start your wrestling adventure, I suppose, if that's what you call it. There's a selection screen which will appear. On the selection screen, there's the following options, which you can set by moving the options thing up and down and left and right to select required game settings. You can have round times of 2 or 3 minutes. Ooh. Match type can be single or tournament. It can be 1 or 2 players, and then you can start things off. What is this game all about? Well, once the type of bout and you've chosen your options, the list of American tag teams, complete with their pictures, are given for you. And they are you ready? Mm-hmm. Steve Smooth and The Hood. Sorry, that's my screen grab there. I think Steve Smooth and The Hood sounds like a band. Crusher McGurk and Frank N. Stein is another duo. Hippie Harry and Babyface. Einstein and Loud Larry. Groucho and Jurgen Meatball. Sammy Shy and Mr. Savage. Dirk Normal and Lord Henry. And the final pairing, The Wolfman and Missing Link. So there you go. These are little cartoon-esque images that are there with them as well. And you can select the tag team which you're going to play when you go. So moving the icon up and down selects from the list of wrestlers, as I've said. When you press the fire button, well, that's the tag team you're going to control, isn't it? All matches take place over 3 2 or 3 minute rounds. with a fall deciding the winners in classic wrestling tradition. Both members of the tag team have their own energy bars, shown beside their faces at the bottom of the screen. When the wrestler is low on energy, he is weak enough to be held down for a fall or a pin. When the wrestler is out of the ring, he is allowed to recover some of his lost energy, even though he will be encouraging his teammate by offering him help and advice. The swapping of wrestlers in the ring is known as tagging, Adrian. That's why it's called tag team wrestling, not swap team wrestling. Just be clear on that. Tagging allows a team to swap... hang on a minute. Tagging allows a team to swap wrestlers to make use of a particular wrestler's skill or allow energy recovery. To tag a wrestler, move back to your corner, face your partner, and press the fire button. So like I said, colourful title screen welcomes you, depicting, well, it looked like some kind of unmasking to me. I'm not quite sure what was going on. There's some okay if what odd-looking presentation to this game throughout. I don't know, kind of cartoonish style, but not quite right. Don't know how to describe that. It's odd looking. Once you get past the selection, like I said, you'll get the ring girl when you do that, showing you the round card. I'm still not really sure what the ambition was for that image. It looked really odd. It looks weird.
Yeah.
Sorry, but it does. When that appeared, I was like, what the hell's that? I don't know what that's meant to be. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't want to know.
No.
It wasn't pleasant on the eye. That I think it's meant to be.
Description, I think.
It was a bit weird looking, wasn't it? Anyway, so like I said, that's what happens. The match begins after that, and the ring is shown from an elevated position in the usual way of these things. So kind of tipped slightly forward, looking down on the ring. It takes maybe 3/4 of the screen up, maybe just under that. Below that are the tag team mini images, and of course the remaining time for the round and your energy bars, as I said before. And it's all pretty colourful, I guess, in its own way, but there's no crowd, which is a problem, really, isn't it? In a game derived from a live spectator sport. Anyway, your wrestlers are in the ring, spandex at the ready, and looking a bit shocking pink in mine. Looked a bit, looked like they've been out in the sun too long. But I think that was just the emulator having a bit of a moment. But they are in there. They look human enough, I guess, so there is that. You control, such as you use that term, the player with the joystick. And I say, let's use the term control, with relative looseness, shall we? The controls such as they are in this. Well, yeah, the controls such as they are in this are a bit odd. So the official moves with the fire button pressed, if you push up, you get hammer fist. If you joystick right, you get flat punch. Joystick down is kick. Joystick left is rope to rope run. Why is it that way? You know what? Doesn't matter. I'm not debating the controls. And drop kick. When on a rope to rope run, pressing fire, initiates a drop kick maneuver. When the opposition is on the canvas, you could do a stamp by pressing up and fire. You could do a pin down by pressing down and fire. When two players meet in the ring, they begin to grapple. The end result of the grapple is decided by a reaction test, with the first player to press fire button winning. The winner of the grapple, 6 grapples, ends the contract with any of the following: pile drive, slam and pin, or down to follow. If the player presses the fire button too early whilst in the grapple, they suffer a time delay before they are allowed to enter the fire button again. Let me just tell you something about wrestling. Don't put delays in it because it's stupid. Here we go.
You'll never win the grapple anyway. Did you ever win a grapple?
No, of course you don't. I didn't have enough grapples. 6 grapples. I've watched enough Rick and Morty to know that you can't Steely McSteelison, whatever he's called. He loves the grapple. That's what he does. All right. Okay. Here we go. So scrap with the players, tag if you want to, and you're trying to win. That's the game. Run around, aim to pull off the moves. That's it. The players are animated in a sense, I suppose. They've got frames of animation applied to them, so should you call it that. They move around the ring at an okay pace, but the moves are difficult to pull off and painful and generally too slow, or the thing's too slow to respond to make it feel A, like you're in control of anything, and B, exciting. This game is stale. It's stale bread. Stale bread. You can make a sandwich with it, can't you? You can make a sandwich, or you can have toast with stale bread, but it's not going to be an optimum experience, is it? It's not how it's meant to be, really, is it? No, the presentation might be colourful here. Graphics style dead weird, I thought, but effective for what it is, I suppose. And there's a little bit of brouhaha around the edges, so it's kind of trying to do that. But, and I feel like we've said this a lot with these kind of games, they live and die by their controls and their atmosphere. With this, the controls seem inexplicable and inconsistent, and there is no one watching. So it's just two weirdos pretending to slap each other and throw each other around, isn't it? And pile drive, which happened a lot to me in this game. And I don't like being pile driven, generally. I don't.
No.
I never really felt that I was getting anywhere, or indeed that was any much point to any of it. It's underwhelming, non-branded wrestling, this. This game has no frills. No control approach sees you quickly going from Hulk Hogan to Sulk Hogan, from The Undertaker to The Underwhelmer, from Sting to Stink, from The Ultimate Warrior to The Ultimate Boria, from Rowdy Roddy Piper to Sleepy Noddy Holder. It ain't no good, this game, Adrian.
Very good.
It
Very
ain't no good. What did you reckon?
Don't know. It's not. You got American tag team wrestling. We've got Aldi tag team wrestling. That's what this is.
Yeah. Why are they American?
Why not?
There's nothing that indicates they're American at all.
Got a star in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, well, I suppose it did, yeah.
It's another week in it, another wrestling game.
Yeah.
I will say, at least this one does have tag teaming in it. It does have,
it did have that. You did give
so you can
tag
tag, you can tag your other player in, and I tried it, and it worked, so that was all right. So that's all I can say that's good about it. That's it.
Yeah.
It's another one of those games where the controls they're not responsive enough to do anything reliably in it. That's the problem with this. Up and fire. Why am I kicking?
Yeah.
That's not a kick move. Do a dive kick? Nope. A punch? What? What? Why is he doing a punch? I just told you to do a dive kick. And as for ever winning a grapple in single player, just forget it. You're never going to do that.
You never win in that grapple.
No. The sprites are okay. At least they're bigger than that Ocean one, and they're all right. The weird instructions. It's quite interesting to have the move instruction sort of thing, but the animation's just going, hey, ooh, hey, ooh.
Yeah, and they don't
ooh.
really work in the way that they explain it. They don't explain it.
No. At one point, I did manage to run across I was like, I'm doing what it's telling me to do a run. I did something different, and it started running. I was like, oh, this game is... this.
Yeah, because you press left and fire to run right. It's like, what a stupid idiot thought that was a good idea. Why can't they just press right twice and go right, running?
Pressing left and fire does the drop kick immediately, which I found is the move
running.
to win. No, I was doing it from a standstill.
That's what I mean. Inconsistent. That's why I said the controls are inconsistent.
And then I could stamp on them, and you could stamp on them with up and fire. Why is it up?
That's what I mean. It makes,
I suppose down is him, but
it makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
No.
You need to know when you make a move, it makes that move. But it was like that shitty fighting game we had the other week from these guys.
Yes, it was.
It's exactly the same. You can no sense what your player will do. It's a crapshoot. Move the joystick in a direction, press the fire button. Hey, what are you going to get? Who knows?
Maybe something will happen, yeah. Riddle-me-ree.
And then half the time, I just ended up facing the wrong way. Why have you turned round?
Yep.
I'm not sure it's 28% bad. I know, maybe it is. I thought this was... I don't know whether because of its stupid crappiness, I don't know, maybe I did it... Because Ocean Wrestler was boring, wasn't it? Maybe you could shop, but they don't have tagging in it. It's not very good. I don't know what it is. We've got a Popeye wrestling game coming down the line at some point, which I'm not holding out for. And they've turned Popeye 3 into a wrestling game. I don't know why, but we've got it coming down the line. Maybe it'll be better than these. I don't know, but this is another bad wrestling game. It makes... we criticised Rock and Wrestle way back, but at least that had weird animations and crunchy samples. And men in leotards. They're not in leotards in this. All I talk about leotards, they're in shorts.
I know, but that intro talking to Combine Harvester, he's not even in the damn game.
No, he's not. I was like, where is he?
Stupid.
I don't know. And did you laugh as well, sort of thing, when you actually do get pile drived, when they face the screen and picks you up and he just shoves his head between the other one's legs?
Yeah,
I was like, that doesn't look good for anyone involved.
No, it does not.
No. Anyway, it's not very good, this. It's not very good.
No.
But I like your puns. They're very good. They were the best thing about this.
Thank you. Golf clap.
You're very welcome. There you go. American oldie tag team wrestling. Let's move on. Let's move on to our next one. God, and that next one is Football Manager 3. Football Manager 3.
This bloody thing.
And the unending quest to create the ultimate 8-bit football management sim, Addictive Software releases the third in the series that started it all. Yeah, I probably didn't. I don't know. There's probably football management games for it. Remember that game? That players 20 minutes for a game to possibly load. Remember the original Football Manager? It might load, might not. Who knew? 20 minutes to wait though. Anyway, Football Manager 3 is here. It got 69%. It was $9.99. And I wish it wasn't here. Although certain parts of this did make me laugh. Probably not for, there's more comedy than this than there is in Sleepwalker.
Yeah, not for good reasons, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the back of the box promises a lot. It says 1 was wonderful, 2 was terrific, 3 is the ultimate challenge.
Yeah.
The greatest series of football management strategy games reaches new heights as you get the chance to control all aspects of your team's fortunes. Success or failure depends on your skill, judgment, and managerial abilities in the transfer market, on the training ground, and in the bedroom. No, in the office and on the pitch.
Yeah.
You've been messing it up on the pitch. Damn. Football Manager 3, the final word in soccer management simulation. So who have we got to thank for this? It's not Kevin Toms. Maybe they should have given it to Kevin Toms. But,
probably.
Because publisher Addictive Games, as we know. Design here is by Brian Rogers. Design.
Yeah.
He gets a credit for design on this.
I wouldn't have had that credit. I'd have
Alan Smithed the shit out of that.
I think I'd have Alan Smithed this one. I'll have Alan Sugared it.
I'd have shoved an emailer in this.
Yeah, I think that might have helped
made it better. The producer was Mark Pierce. The coder was Miles Barry, with Mike Marchant doing the visuals. Now, interestingly, it's also got a credit on them, and it does have them. There is music in this when it loads up. Gear Gelter. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name.
That's right.
Gear Gelter doing the music. Now, I say does the music because there's a comment on Lemon. The only comment against this says that the music was stolen.
It was.
So I went digging around in the HSVC database and found Gear Gelter and went through all his tunes. He had quite a few tunes. There's nothing else listed for him on Lemon or anything. This piece of music is called Deceptive.
It is.
So I think, I don't think it had anything to do with Football Manager 3.
No, it's from a demo.
Yeah, maybe it was nicked and used without permission. I don't know. Maybe they contacted him and paid for it. I don't know. I guess not. Maybe. I don't know. Because the weird thing is there's no music credit on the title screen for this either, so, which is odd. Now, the version I played didn't have a loading screen, but Lemon has a loading screen for this, which was not on the version I played, as I said. But it might be the most boring loading screen I've ever seen. I've put an image of that in the agenda. I've just stuck that in there if you want to have a look down at the bottom. It's awful. I mean, it's a load of men in white shirts and bad ties from the early 90s looking at folders. That
ain't good.
Folders. And in the background is what I assume is a stadium with the well-known circular football pitch.
Look at that. What? That's CERN, isn't it? They've got in the background behind them. That's a particle collider.
Well, if you look at the 16-bit versions, you can tell it's a stadium and that's a pitch.
Right. Yeah.
But that's a cricket pitch. Cricket pitch is around.
That's a cricket pitch. Yeah, that's a donut, isn't it? That's a donut shape.
But football pitches are well known for being rectangular.
Rectangular, yeah. Usually, yeah.
It's a whole new way this game has gone.
Well, it makes corners very difficult. Corners are very challenging on a round pitch.
So where do I take it from?
Keep going. Oh, you're back. Hang on a minute.
It's gone all the way around. You need to take it from
Gary.
From the radius. From the radius.
It's Gary Lineker's football design. He's like, me make round pitch. Oh, Gary, we've been through this. You can't have corners on a round pitch, mate, can you? You can't. Keep going. Oh, God, Gary.
I don't know. How do you know it's gone off for a goal kick or a throw-in? It's circular.
The ball's square, though, so it all adds up.
Yeah, true. Oh, dear. Dreadful. Fucking circular football pitch. Awful. Anyway, when you load the game, the grammatically challenged title screen appears. This made me howl. I actually laughed. You can choose to load a save game, pick a team for any of the 4 divisions from the English Football League. And then at the bottom, we have some credits. You control your choice with the joystick, the fire button, which is good, okay. But for some reason, League has been spelled Leag. It loads the game in, so it's not like they couldn't fit the U and E in.
No. Something's gone horribly wrong.
Something's gone terribly wrong. And the options are, and this makes no sense either. First, Leag, then it says 1.Leag, 2.Leag, 3.Leag. What's that mean?
You mean you're not familiar with the football Leags? I thought you were into football and Leags.
Dead into football. I don't know what the first Leag is. What's the difference between the first Leag and one Leag?
I don't know. I've never been into that. The Champions League, it's where it's at from what I hear.
God, the credits at the bottom. Right. They say programmed by Miles Barry, designed by Brian Rogers, graphics by Mark Marchant, producer Mark Pierce. Right. Produced by Miles Barry. He's got a big gap in the middle for a reason. Designed by Brian Rogers does not. Graphics by Mike Marchant. Graphics is spelled with an X for whatever reason. And by Mike has 2 spaces. Producer Mark Pierce has a dash in the middle. Why are they all different?
Because the person who wrote it was clearly just out of nursery school.
What's going on here? When I looked at it, what the hell is this? I don't get it.
What league am I talking about?
What league am I talking to? Consistency, people. Consistency. Consistency be damned.
Throw that away.
Selecting one of the leagues. I mean, this is probably why they've got circular pitches in these leagues.
They said it was going to be the new thing, didn't they?
It's football, but not as you know it. But when you select one of the lag, shows the teams in that division and the divisions. I know we say Premier League, but it's First Division. But First Division, at this point, it was Premier League, First Division, Second Division, Third Division. Not leagues. They're not leagues.
They're not leagues. I think you'll find it's pronounced division in this one.
It'd actually just be Diviso. They just couldn't fit the ONS on.
The Diviso of the league.
1 Diviso, 2 Diviso, 3 Diviso.
Dear me.
What is this rubbish? Anyway, choose a team, press fire to confirm, at which point, okay. Then it loads in your office, and that's what this game is.
What's the obsession with offices in these recent football games?
I don't know.
Honestly,
now, here, like
offices and bloody filofaxes. Goodness me.
Yeah, we get a view from behind a desk of an office that just said, to hell with perspective.
yeah, they gave up.
Yeah, they just didn't know. Flat monitors, flat filing cabinets. What's going on? There's a portrait of a Santaran in the middle for no reason.
It is a Santaran. It really is. Look, potato head.
And above that, it's a Connect. They've obviously gone forward in time. You know, the time travel from the future and put a Connect above it.
It does look a bit like a Connect.
But why a fucking office again? Once you've gotten over the shock of the shoddy visuals, you can use the joystick to select various items and manage your team. On the desk, we've got a phone, which takes you to the trading market. And here you'll see portraits of men, and it looks like a screen grab from Crime Watch.
It really did, yeah.
Or some other true crime show. It's just a load of people. Have you seen these people? Don't go near them.
It wasn't good.
No. Please, could you identify? Or you know, one of those when you have a victim in one of those sort of CSI or what's the other one? Law and Order. And they go, could you just look through this book? Can you recognise any of these men here who's the map in the thing? That's what this is. You recognise men, anyone who touched you. What's this? Anyway, you can buy or sell players here. The memo? There's a memo. They'll actually send a memo to the bank manager or other managers for whatever reason. I don't know. The agenda shows us what's going on day to day. It's a filofax again. We've got another boring filofax in this game.
Yes, we do. I'm
obsessed with filofaxes. The computer lets us see fixtures and league standings. If you move up, there's a picture of the team on the wall. I say a team, it's just some random shapes. This allows us to change formation. You can do this by, you move a square around the pitch, hold down fire, you can drag players into position, you can set up how you want. You can also click on them to train them up. The picture of the Santaran allows us to see our finances. And finally, the filing cabinet allows us to see our personnel and details and managerial stats and things like that. There's also a door. There's a hole in the wall on the left.
Yeah, it is a hole.
Very small. Very small. You slip through that. But you click on that advances time by a day. And again, they've got this bloody fixation with doing something every day. Because you're not going to. Just go to the game. You know, you've done your stuff for the week. You've set your team up. You picked it. Go to the bloody game. You have to click on this sodding hole in the wall, enough time until you get to the game day. Okay, when you finally get to a match day, the first thing you see is all the fixtures. Then you have to press spacebar, which up to this point has been used as the back button to back out of menus, but is now the advance button to get to the game. Again, consistency be damned. And this loads up the match view. Now, when this loads, so we see a game from up in the nosebleeds. We're like, there's a football match going on somewhere down below us. 22 tiny players scurry around the pitch. Oh, so tiny. Beneath this, we've got some text to tell us what is happening, because you can't tell shit from the view. On the bottom right, we have the score. Now, the manual says your score is always on the left, except it isn't, because after half-time, they flick over. Your score is now on the right. None of this, I don't think anyone spoke to anyone in the development of this. Next to this is why would you do a three-quarter circle that slowly fills up, denoting the time elapsed? Why not just have a number? A number ticking up to 45? I mean, there's no team names for some reason. So you hope, all you can do here is watch, because this is the other problem with this game. And it's one we said about the others as well. All you can do is watch. You can't put, there's no way to interact at this point. There's no way to put on subs, even though you had some selected, and there's no way to do anything to affect the game. After watching the tiny players do their thing, you get all the results, and then it's back to the office to do all again or turn it off like I did. Why are football management games at this point getting worse? What's happened? There was a period where you could see them getting better, up to about Tracksuit Manager and things like that. And there was a few in the middle, and they were getting really good. And then suddenly they've all just gone crap again. This is full price. It's just as bad as that Jimmy Horror Show shit we saw recently, or any of the cult game nonsense. Really bad.
Yep.
How many times do I have to say that a football game needs to allow you to make changes during a game? It actually says in the instructions, at any time, except during a match, the team formation can be adjusted. That is the most important time to change as you need to react to what is happening. But because the game loads in the match, I imagine that all the tactic stuff's no longer applicable. I don't know. Anyway, it's rubbish. This is rubbish. Another in a long line of crap football management games that don't let you manage the game when doing that is the single most important thing you need to be able to do. Imagine if Thomas Tuchel or something like that, because obviously they've got the World Cup going on. Imagine if any of the managers in that go, I wish I could bring on a sub, freshen things up. I wish I could change the sort of way we go, give a team. Nothing. You can't do shit all in this. I'm really starting to hate these things now. This one is rubbish and stupid. The match display is crap too. The office is a farce. The whole Liag thing at the point of entry is indefensible. And at one point, watching what you're watching the game, the opposition goalie ran out of the box and into my half with the ball, just past everyone. My players trying to tackle him. It's like, what's going on? This wouldn't happen. Another time, my goalie had the ball and one of their players just kept running around them like a wasp while the rest of the teams ran off to the other half of the pitch. Like, what's happening? Garbage. Utter garbage. Don't play this. It's shit. What did you think?
I'm not going to add much more to that. I don't like them anyway, these games. So this was just another really ugly looking thing, wasn't it? With stolen music from a demo group, really. Predator, I think it was, from a demo group. It's a pig ugly piece of shit, this game. That desk is so stupid, that perspective challenge, the Sontaran on the wall. Everything about that thing, and the fact that you had to sort of float around with you and select things, and when it did it did this crap sort of 2-stage of his animation where the phone was like off the hook and the book went flop. It's just rubbish. It looked like the screen on the computer was cracked. Anyway, and it isn't even switched on. And it's got no mouse. So how does he control it? It's just
with
crap.
the Sontaran mind.
It does. It's just crap. There's no thought put into it. And they've tried to wrap these graphics in. And then what got to this point when there was just this green thing surrounded by lots of black and white sort of monochrome images of football players with stupid names. No. I wasn't going to get much further into it than I did. I chose Liverpool. It then just went on an inexplicable tour of clicking on things and pressing spacebar to go back. I couldn't get anywhere really with it, and that was me done. I'm like, this game's impenetrable for someone anyway. You'd have to really be into football manager games and really, really be lenient to get anything out of this. I thought it was crap. 70%, 69% at full price at this stage. No way. Just get lost. No, rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Waste of time and energy. Why do that? Why do it? Rubbish.
I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Oh, there we go. It's Football Manager 3. Garbage. Let us move on to hopefully something decent this week. Graham, that's over to you to tell us all about Locomotion.
Yeah, this is 62%. This from Kingsoft. It was published by $11.99, pretty heavy price. It's developed by Prestige Software, which is the creator Andre Woolrich and with musician Zol Szabo. This is the only thing they've done and probably ever did. And this is a single screen puzzler based on the merry world of train management. Isn't that exciting? So after selecting the game box, you'll now be into the game selection. You get into the game selection menu. So the first thing you're going to do here is, let me just find my blurb. So the objective of this game ultimately is to route trains through a self-contained network by switching points, crossings and signals, so that each train reaches its destination. That's the goal of the game. And the destination is station shown in a white letter next to it without lettering. Two trains collide. So you've got to avoid train collisions, really. So it's that kind of game. And that's basically it. And we'll talk a little bit about the layout of what that is. And I've got the instruction manual. I found it, but I found a German version. So I got the AI to do the translation on it. And it says, after selecting the game type, which is so you can choose, there's a level creator in this, and then there's the game. So you choose at the beginning whether you're doing level creator or games. I didn't choose the editor, I just chose game. You are now in the game selection menu. Choose the game you want to tackle by clicking a grey box. Boxes A to L represent the built-in games, with difficulty increasing continuously from A through to L. Games M to X can only be started once you've created them yourself using the level editor. Once you've chosen the game, click Start. If you want to view the high score, you can click that. For a game, select the high score as an option. At the start, you can only select game A. I didn't find that in the version I had, but you can only, no matter what you select, it only starts from level 1, essentially. And then once you solve each level, you'll automatically receive a password for the next one. That's the plan. So the game board itself, so you'll go through that. You get like a quite nice, I guess you call it a title screen. it made me think, because this game's Locomotion, so everybody's doing a breath. That's the Locomotion, isn't it, the music? It's not that on this game, though, which is weird. It's not bad music as it goes when it starts, but the title screen's a bit weird. It kind of freaked me out a little bit. Because I couldn't find a manual at this point, I thought to myself, what is this game? If I based it upon what I saw on the title screen, it's a bit weird. They look like two sort of beaver trains that have been fused into demons. So that's the best way I could really describe them, really. So that's it. Now, the blurb for this, after you get past that, the objective, it says, the game board consists of a small self-contained railway network, similar to a model railway layout. Within it are stations, points, and sometimes crossings and signals as well. Each station carries an identifying letter. As soon as a train prepares to depart from one of the stations, a white letter appears right next to it, indicating the destination station the train wants to reach. Start and destination stations are chosen at random. Your task is conceivably simple, or perhaps not. By switching the points and, where present, the crossings and signals, make sure every train reaches its destination. The point can be changed by clicking directly on it. Note the following. If you route a train to the wrong station, it will immediately set off again to try to reach its correct destination. You can exploit this to reverse a train's direction of travel. Take care, though, that two trains do not suddenly head towards each other, because then exactly what has to happen will happen. On screen, there is also a black box containing 3 numbers. The large number at the top shows you how many trains still need to be guided to their destination before the level is successfully completed. The middle number tells you how many collisions are still tolerated. 1 point is deducted for each destroyed train, and if this reaches 0, the game is over. The game also ends when the available time shown in the box below that runs out. The counter runs faster the more trains are on the move, so guide the trains to their destinations as quickly as possible. It's quite a sneaky little trick, that. Pressing the right mouse button, or I could say it's not really that on this, during play speeds up both the game flow and the maximum speed. Now, did you find this? I couldn't quite get this bit to function in the way.
Yeah, you just press fire button when you hold down fire button when you're not when your pointer's not over a point.
I thought that was what it was doing. I sort of got to grips with it by when I finished the first level, but I wasn't sure if that was the way it manifested it, but that's how it's done. And very advanced players, of course, can win a few extra points that way, so you can just speed the things up. A bit like when you speed the blocks up in Tetris, I imagine. You can just zap
exactly what I've written. Yeah.
Once you've successfully mastered the level, you can earn turn points. You earn points 2 for each remaining second, 10 for each remaining crash point, and 8 for each completed job. Plus some extra points for using the turbo button. Pressing the button again starts the next level. There are 9 levels to survive per game. At the end of the game, or one of the levels, or once all the levels are mastered, you can enter yourself in the high score list if your result is good enough. Just type your name and confirm with return. The list is saved automatically disc, but doesn't save it on the old cassette. You can press P at any time to give yourself or the train drivers a break. You cannot cheat with it, as the trains are not visible during pause. Play resumes when P is pressed a second time. Sneaky trick, that, isn't it? Mm-mm. The game can also be aborted completely by pressing the escape key. So there you go. That kind of gives you the way the game plays and everything else, right? Which is okay. That's what it is. So you press fire, like I said, when you go once you pass that screen. So what does it all look like? The game starts, and you're presented with the game. I think this, as like I said, a train track related puzzle game. We've not had too many of those, really, have we? And the main chunk of the game window is the sort of connected train tracks, as you see them from the top down. As I've already explained, they've got little letters on them. The graphics are all in that kind of medium res style, but they don't look too bad. And the menu selection screens are all kind of bright and clear. So it's not like difficult game to read and understand in that way. And in fact, even without the instructions, it doesn't take long to kind of figure out what's going on, because you sort of see the train on it and you think, well, obviously I've got a guide train somewhere. Then they start going around the track. Now, the trains instinctively start clockwise, and they go that way. But like I said, if you guide one to the wrong space, it can start reversing and things can start to get a little difficult. Now, the trains are in the actual game. There's some really good music, I thought, for the main game. It's not bad music at all. But in the game, it's only sound effects. But you do get this kind of nice sort of steam train sound, which is odd because they're not steam trains, but steam train sound, which gives you an indication that a train is coming, which is sort of, you start to get a little bit of panic stations when you've got quite a few trains trundling around the track at that point. So 1 second, Aid. So they start trundling around the track. Now, it gets quite complicated. In the first level, you sort of make this A, B, and C, and you can guide them reasonably well to the place where they're going. Tracks are quite deviously designed, so they're not like just straightforward loops. They've got little bends and things and switches on them. So you've got to think about which direction you're going to send them. And sometimes you'll inadvertently send one of these trains off in the wrong direction. You're like, or you think they're going to go over a point, and they'll actually stop and pause, because you can sort of pause the trains a little bit while others are going around. But you've got to be very careful how you do that, because you can inadvertently send trains going in the wrong way. It's a train management game, ultimately. It's like a digital version of a Hornby set when you were, if someone had one of those big sets, not one of the ones that was just a big loop, but when you had someone who had the more advanced version where they had points and stuff like that, it's quite a lot to manage. And that's quite good. That's quite a good idea for a puzzle game, that said.
Yep.
Graphics here I thought were good for what it's doing. I didn't think they were bad. There's a kind of a BMX kid style sort of approach to the shading on these graphics, which I thought was quite nice. You get to get grips with the games quickly. The trains look like trains. They trundle around the track nicely. Like everything controls well. There's a nice design choice here. So when you move the arrow around, you kind of skip across sort of like a grid almost, which is quite nice. It skips from the point to point. So you're not having to sort of float it around. That was a good idea to do that because you can very quickly just tap. It's more of tap than scroll. So you can just sort of tap your way up and down to get to where you need to be, press the button to activate the points, press the button again to activate it the second time. Like I said, that choice is really kind of what made this game ultimately more playable. And because you're doing that, and then the trains start coming and you can end up in a situation where you've got trains going all over the place. I did. It's quite funny because I wanted to see ultimately how wrong I could get it. And then I just had trains going all over the place at one point. It was really funny. I'm like, oh, this is bad. There didn't seem to be any slowdown or any limit to the number of trains that were on the screen that all handled them really well. Not like I had 8 or anything, but I had quite a few trundling around. And the tracks get more and more complicated and more challenging to do. Now, other versions of this game have got a lot more about them because you can slow and down the speed the train tracks up. You can pick up certain cargoes and you get bonuses for that. I didn't encounter any of that in this one, but I don't know if that's the Amiga version or the DOS version. There's more to those versions, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the 16-bit ones, yeah.
But this one was perfectly serviceable without those things. This was a nice puzzle. This is the sort of thing I would expect to see nowadays on an iPhone or a mobile game.
Yes.
It's very at home on that. I can see this being really successful on a mobile. Probably, in fact, I don't doubt there is one. And these sort of games do become very popular in that kind of way. So we've seen this kind of puzzle approach before with, I think it was Fuse, where you have to sort of select and guide things in certain paths and do that sort of thing. We've seen that. That idea works, right? That idea does work. So you've got good music here, decent graphics, strong sense of playability, player affordance given. And I think all of those add up for it being quite an interesting game. It's not great, because it does get a little bit samey, but it's interesting enough for what it is. And it is a single screen puzzler, and it does all of those things very well. So it's not like it's trying to go overboard and do anything super complicated. What it's doing a decent job at. And I thought it was quite good for that. So I quite enjoyed my time playing it as a little puzzle game. Not crazy challenging, but it does get quite stressful, as these games sort of do. Maybe it's a little bit on the quiet side. I mean, it could have done with a little bit more pizzazz around the edges, but it was okay. I think the only fly in this game's ointment, the one single fly, is its price.
12 quid, yeah.
12 quid's too much for this. It's a budget game. This would have been at $2.99 more, which is the budget price in 1982, or $3.99. This would have been brilliant. This is good value for money at that. You can go back to certain levels. You get codes for them. It's got a nice affordance. This has got a good affordance and it's designed for the player. It's designed to be playable. It looks the part. It's just a big ask for 12 quid at this stage of the game. So, I don't know. I rated this game highly apart from its price. I really enjoyed it. It's not going to be, I wouldn't say it's in the Super League of puzzle games, but it's not bad at all. It's just too expensive. So, but that was my only problem with it, really. Other than that, I quite enjoyed playing it. What about you?
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this. Maybe because I came on the back of Tag Team Wrestling and Football Manager, but
yeah, true.
It's another one, isn't it? To add to we've got quite an evergreen list of really good to excellent single screen puzzles on the C64 that I was unaware of, that we've had, the last few years of coverage. We've seen a lot of them, and this is another great one. There's loads to like in this. It's got a really clear and easy to read screen. I mean, I didn't have the instructions, but I figured it out within about a couple of goes. I was like, all right, yeah, let's see how this works. It's a really simple premise. It just immediately understand. The only thing I was like, the letter. They want to get. Well, as soon as I guided the first train to where the letter was asking, I was like, right, that's what I've got to do. Right, fine, yeah, I understand it. Guide the train to its destination. Don't let it crash into other trains. Very simple premise. But as you say, as the levels progress, more stations and more trains, more junctions needing to be managed. It does that good thing that good puzzle games do, keeping the challenge rising alongside your skill level. You get into that flow state and ability to manage the issues arising on the fly. And it does that other good thing as well. Good game design, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Because it keeps this nice simple. It has its premise, get the train to its station, and it complicates that with more trains and more stations and a trickier tracks. But it keeps it that the core basis thing simple. I thought the visuals were perfect. Because they're really easy to read. It's really easy to see where the tracks are and the bends and the junction points and things like that. I like the way the cursor snaps to the grid because it's really easy to flit about the screen making changes. The ability to speed trains up by holding fire on a non-interactive square gives you some control over proceedings, like you said, dropping the blocks faster in Tetris. But the sound was great. Some lovely tunes to herald the interstitial screens. Yeah. Maybe in game could have been a bit of music sort of just pottering along in the background.
Yeah.
But what's there is good. I didn't really sort of notice the fact that there wasn't much in the game itself. But the presentation I thought was top notch too. There's a really nice sort of title screens, interstitial screens, and everything looks really nice. Some nice drop shadow and sort of background little sort of bits and bobs. It's good. The fact that it only got 62%, it has to be the price.
Yeah,
it has to be the price. Because if I take away the price, this is high 80s. You put this as a budget title, like you said, $3.99. This sneaks as a sizzler.
Yeah, I would say it's up there. It's good.
It's a 90%. I mean, with that price, I'd still rate it higher than 62% because I still think it's a good game, but I think that price is a real sticking point. The fact, it's the same price as Sleepwalker, which got 92%, just bothers me greatly 40 odd years later. But, it's just like, no, 30 odd years later. But, you factor in the level editor as well, making your own things and sort of putting your own stuff together and playing them. And, you've got all this space for that. There's a lot of longevity to this, a lot of levels, and a lot of fun can be had. And it might get a little bit samey, but these kind of games are what they are. They have that one concept. And as a budget game, you'd have been more accepting of that. 12 quid, you probably want a bit more. But I think it's a great little game, a really good little game, and well worth sort of playing these days because it's nice, it's simple, but it's just enjoyable. It's frustrating in the right way that these kind of games are, because you've only got yourself to blame by not noticing that a train's going that way, and you focus on the right way. You're like, all right, if I just wait for that train to go, blah, blah, and then suddenly on the left, it's like, krung, you're like, oh, crap. I was not looking over there.
Yeah.
It's just got that about it. So, I'd highly recommend this. Go and play this. Easily the best game of the week for me, and I think for you as well. There we go. That's our 4 games for this week.
That's it.
And clearly, Locomotion is the best one by a country mile, because it's got a good premise and it works really well. So go play that. Ignore the rest. We've done you the job.
You'll find nothing there. You won't.
No,
You'll find nothing but pain.
Absolutely. Yeah, nothing but pain, horror, and bad memories.
Yes, exactly. It's like going in Gary's underpant drawer. Don't look, Marion.
Jesus. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh. No one ever said that about Gary's underpant drawer. No one ever looked in there and went, it's beautiful.
No one ever looked in there and lived in the
bad dates.
Asps. Very dangerous.
You put them on first. Yeah, never a good thing.
No.
Yeah, there we go. We hope you enjoyed those 4. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Obviously, right, usual admin stuff. We have a Patreon. Join the Patreon. We said it in the shout out at the beginning. Patreon.com/Zapped to the Past. Come and join us. You'll get the free and bonus episode each month now. We've done 2 of them. Really enjoying doing them. Our Patreon seem to be liking them as well. A lot of cool comments about them. And, someone said this week we seem a bit more energized, which I thought was, I think is a point. I think maybe we do. I think the changing stuff we're doing, the sort of change of shape of stuff, the book and everything. I think it has given us a little bit of a lift. I said to him, I just found 1992 a slog.
It was hard work.
Just getting through them every week. There was just so much. It was hard. So I think the new format has kind of like given me a bit like, I feel a bit more.
Bit of a boost. Yeah,
I think so. That's good. But yeah, the Patreon only one is a good laugh. So come and have a listen to that. Patreon.com/Zapped to the Past. We have a Ko-fi if you want to donate that way, keep it going and things like that. Show your appreciation, or just come and chat on social media when I post stuff out on there. What else we got? I don't think that's it. I think that's about it. Our next episode, 2 weeks time. Do you want to say what the next episode is, Graham? Would you like to introduce it in your burly way?
Yes. So the next episode, very burly. The next episode is Battle of the Burly Beepsters
from the 80s. Yeah,
from the 80s. So this is going to pitch the muscular muscles of Arnold Schwarzenegger and his movies of that particular period versus the other muscles in the gang, which was Sylvester Stallone. And of course, he had his fair share of all muscular, movies. The Predators, the Rambos. Who knows what's going to come out of that? But it's a big, burly bastard of a battle. Someone's got to win it, haven't they? So we're going to go and dive into all of those. Watch so many movies that we're obviously going to be, shitting bullets. And then
eating Green Berets for breakfast.
Exactly. That's all I ever eat these days. Just I love the good Green Beret breakfast. And then we're going to go into a little bit of a showdown with them to just see if there really is enough burl in there to see who has the most burl. And it's not just based on muscle size. Let me tell you that right now, because it's important. Otherwise, Schwarzenegger as Mr. Universe 7 times in a row, whatever it was, is going to win it outright. It's not about that. It's not just about that. It's not just about the muscles. No. Have you been pushing too many pencils, Adrian? We'll find out, won't we?
No, but the side burl, under burl. There's also the quality of the films as well.
Yeah,
exactly. So there's all those kind of things to take in. And
factors.
And I just, over the top. There's a lot of burl in over the top.
Exactly.
Some of those people's arms are bigger than my body.
Exactly. So it's not just about the big muscles and all of that. It's not just, if you think of Predator and that scene where they go, got to push it thumb into pencils, that bit, it's not just about that. It's about other stuff as well. Yes, Predator's got Blaine and a whole bunch of bodybuilders in there, running around the jungle.
Predator's quite burly.
But there's other films that are just as burly in their own way. It's all about how you measure the burl. That's what we're going to discover, isn't it? That's the plan. Yeah. In the process, of course, we're going to both be wearing combat pants, and we're both going to walk onto a log bridge and slash ourselves open with a giant dagger, just to see if Billy was right, if that is the best defense against a large alien predator that's out to kill you. I think it probably is, but we'll find out, won't we? Exactly. We're going to have a bit. I thought we might have a burly laugh off as well. I'm trying to get the sound clips of all the burliest laughs from those movies and try and do a burly laugh compilation. It's hard work. It's really hard work.
The one thing I do predict though is pain.
Pain. Da 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 da.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good laugh. I think that's going to be a good one. Yeah, so that's our next episode in a couple of weeks. The burly burl off, the burly burl off of the burly bastards.
Yeah, the battle of the burly bastards. Yeah.
So join us in 2 weeks for that one. Oh, there we go. It's hot. So you got anything left you wish to add to this episode?
No, that's
Graham?
it. One decent game. Go play Locomotion. Go and have a dump on the rest and wipe your ass on the memories of them. And don't ever think about them anymore. And then just tune in with us, come and listen to Arnold Schwarzenegger versus Stallone and all the rest of the fun and games. We've got loads of stuff coming as well. So, just come back.
Yeah, I'd say go and enjoy a game of football on a circular pitch in Liag 1.
Yes.
One Liag.
I'd say Liag 1. I think it's probably the Liag to be in.
Liag 1, yeah. So on that note, we'll say goodbye. We hope you enjoyed this. And as ever, I have been Adrian Mills.
And I have been Graham Raddings.
And you have been listening to Zapped to the Past, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Zapped to the Past podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the world of Commodore 64 games, as well as all the other amazing things we like to talk about, inspired, of course, by our lifelong friendship and journeys through all those fun games, times, TV shows, films, music, and everything in between and beyond. We will, of course, return very soon with another episode to explore more games and other exciting stuff. Until then, if you want to listen to all the previous episodes of the podcast, you can. Just go to our website at zappedtothepast.com and you'll find them all there. Alternatively, you can also find us on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Google, all of them. Just search for Zapped to the Past and you'll find us. We also have a Patreon, which gives you early access to ad-free episodes, instant access to our amazing Discord server, discounts on our zappedtothepast.shop merchandise, a shout-out, and even involvement in the odd episode or two, all for less than the price of a sandwich. Go to patreon.com/zappedtothepast and join in the fun at the C64 tier. We do always like to hear from our listeners, so if you'd like to communicate with us, you can contact us via the website at zappedtothepast.com, email us at zappedtothepast@gmail.com, or find us on all the usual social media platforms. And if you like what we're doing, you can like, share, and write reviews, because it really does help us out. Zapped to the Past is written and produced by Adrian Mills and Graham Raddings, and produced at the legendary Flaky Bits 2.0 studio. All opinions expressed in the podcast are those of the writers, and while we indeed love the Commodore 64 and everything about it, we are not affiliated with any particular Commodore 64 magazine or publication in any way. Stay safe, and remember, we play these games so you don't have to.